Hello and welcome back to day 2 of our 12 Days of Christmas card series over at Scraps and Ink. I'm so glad you can join me today. Today we're going to be doing a very clean and simple Christmas card involving some solid red cardstock from Lawn Fun and a Simon Says stamp set from their January 2019 card kit. And I'm starting off with some Nina Classic Crest Solar White 80-pound smooth cardstock. That is a mouthful. Try saying that 5 times fast. And I'm cutting these down to about 1.5 inches each. And I'm just cutting 3 of them out. And then I'm taking this red Lawn Fawn cardstock and I am cutting it out just barely bigger than my white squares. It is actually going to be 1/8 of an inch bigger than my white squares, just for a very clean matted look. So I started off this card using the stamp set from Mama Elephant. I believe it's their Tiny Agenda Snowman stamp set. And I didn't actually like the look of it because they filled in the squares and it just wasn't the right look for what I wanted. So I ended up flipping over the papers and realizing that my scraps were damaged on the back. And so I ended up having to cut 2 more squares. Not a problem. Happy to do it. It was very easy to do. And here I replaced the stamps that I used with a Simon Says stamp, with a Simon Says snowman. So on one square, I stamped the little snowman with the pom-pom hat, and they all have scarves. So on the other square, I stamped the snowman with the gift and the top hat. And for the middle square, I stamped out the snowflakes that come in the stamp set. And I stamped everything out with VersaFine Onyx Black ink. And then I made a rookie mistake on this card where I Copic colored my snowmen. If you're not familiar with card making or different types of inks, VersaFine Onyx Black is not alcohol marker friendly. And I knew this going into it and I didn't pay any mind to it, so I just stamped it anyway. Another mistake I made was I initially stamped out my snowflakes and then I came back in with a smaller snowflake to try and fill in a gap. I didn't like the way that looked when I filled in the gap, so I just flipped the paper and stamped it again. And in retrospect, if I had to redo this card, I would probably watercolor the snowman and then clear heat emboss the lines so it comes out a little bit cleaner. For the snowflakes, I would either clear heat emboss or gold heat emboss the snowflakes onto the paper. Just an idea if you wanted to retry the card. So I glued my panels down onto the red mat with some Tombow permanent adhesive tape glue, I think. Anyway. And I wanted to heat emboss the sentiment for just a little pop of color, just a little something different to really bring in what I feel is the Christmas spirit. So I stamped it on the same Lawn Fawn red cardstock and heat embossed it in gold. And this is a clearly besotted stamp set where I got this Merry Christmas sentiment from. I just love these sentiments. They are scripty, they're so cute, and they're very thin. So they're just aesthetically pleasing. So after I heat embossed it, I wanted to cut down my panel. I don't have sentiment banner dies, so everything I do has to be done by hand. And I couldn't decide if I wanted to leave the sentiment strip long or to cut it down. And I'm kind of glad I cut it down because I only had a little tiny strip of foam tape left and it was the perfect size for that sentiment. So, all in all, this card came together fairly easily. So, for the mat, for the card panel, I matted it down with some Cricut red glitter cardstock and I cut a hole out of the cardstock because I didn't want to just glue everything down and waste so much of that glitter paper. I didn't have very much left, which was another rookie mistake because in the light you can actually see the gap in the cardstock, and that's, if I had to redo this, I would just suck it up and glue it down flat without cutting anything out. But overall, I kind of like the look. Very clean and simple, not too much coloring done, and it gives it a nice flavor. So if you liked this video, give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you again for day 3. Bye. Have a great weekend.